I'm Dr. Leanna Manuel, and I'm here to talk to you a little bit about my new book, Don't Diet, Reprogram Your Weight with Meridian Tapping. I've sold a bunch of copies so far, and people are usually pretty happy with it. The comments have been great. But it seems that most people are paying attention to only two parts of the book. They're paying attention to the first part, which teaches you how to use meridian tapping to overcome any sorts of problems. And in this case, we're talking specifically about diet and weight loss issues. The second part of the book is a bunch of tapping, we call them scripts. They're the words that you might say as you're tapping along the different spots to kind of get you going. These tapping scripts address food cravings, body image issues, exercise issues, whether it's having trouble getting motivated or just being afraid of going to the gym. And those are the sections that people are saying are really, really helpful. And I'm very glad about that. Because if it can help you to overcome a craving in that moment or get you to go to the gym, fantastic. But the part that most people are missing is what I would consider the third part. It's the exercises that are interspersed throughout the rest of the book. And people, for some reason, are afraid or just don't quite know how to use them. And I believe that that's where the real magic is. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about why they're there and how to use them and how they came about. The first exercise in the book is really, really simple. You're simply asked to, fully dressed, stand in front of a mirror and look at yourself while you're tapping. Because most of us, particularly those of us that have had weight loss issues for a long time, we're not very happy with what we see in the mirror. And that's why I want you to keep your clothes on to start this, because, if we had to do it naked, it would be tough. But later in the book, I ask you to do that. Why is that important? Because if we're rejecting any part of ourselves, then we're creating a kind of an energy problem within us that makes it really hard for us to lose weight, because we're kind of more like, flabby arms, be gone, I don't want to look at you, and that's a part of you, it's a part of me. And whenever we're rejecting any part of ourselves, then things get a little tougher. So I started you out pretty easy. The second exercise could be just a little tougher, because I've asked you to remember what your first experience was with exercise. And for most of us that are overweight, our first experience with exercise probably wasn't very pleasant. We might have felt awkward, someone might have made fun of us, we might have gotten hurt. And so just to kind of get you moving toward the idea that exercise is bad, shifting to exercise is good, we have this exercise. And all I want you to do is start tapping. And you're going to start at your eyebrow, and go to your temple, and under your eye, under your nose, your chin, your collarbone, under your arm, and the top of your head, while you remember that exercise. Sounds simple, right? The third one, though, it's the one that got me. In the third one, I ask you to remember something that somebody said about you and your body that was negative. Again, you might say, why bother? And the reason is that those things tend to stick with you, and they have an impact that you can't even imagine. Mine happened when I was in high school. Hard to imagine, but I had a crush on a boy. I know, hard to imagine, right? That boy had a younger brother. And apparently everybody knew I had this crush on the boy, including the younger brother. And he made a comment, and what he said, these are his exact words, I swear, "Her butt's so big it curls right up in your face." He was talking about me. That stuck with me. And if you look back, my weight gain journey actually started then, as well as my lack of confidence in myself and the negative self-talk that started about my body. What you need to know is that I wasn't even slightly heavy back then. I was thin. I wore a size 5, and we had to take in the waistband of most of my pants because my waist was so tiny. So this was nothing more than a mean little boy saying hurtful words because he knew I had a crush on his big brother. But it stuck with me. This event happened more than 40 years ago. I still remember it. And before I started tapping on it, I still felt it deep within me. And it really did affect how I perceived myself and then that affected how I exercised, how I ate, and how I wore clothes even. So what did I do? I started tapping, just like I showed you a minute ago, and I started right up here at my eyebrow, and I started tapping, and I started telling out loud, really, the story of what happened, who was there, what was said, what I was wearing, how I felt, and how I felt afterwards. Now, I don't like the event. I still would kind of like to punch out the little brother, but it doesn't have the same zing for me it did before. It's just one of many, I'll call them unfortunate incidents that happened, but I no longer feel bound by it. So I would encourage you to go through the exercises that are in the book. They're there for a reason. They're pretty well thought out, and they will invite you to explore many of the things from your past and your present that keep you stuck where you are with diet and exercise and food. So, I beg you, I request, I ask, I implore, I even cajole you to take a look at the book, but don't skip the exercises. Until then, happy tapping!